A Serbian city awakens as a poised and polished lawyer, working for businessman Voigt, strides through its frosty streets. She arrives at a deserted square, meets an old man, and trades a bag of money for an ancient box. The old man's eyes bore into the lawyer's as he delivers a warning, his voice low and menacing. It is not to be taken lightly, giving the sense of foreboding danger. We then see Joey, a wide-eyed rent boy, exploring the halls of Roland Voigt's depraved billionaire mansion in Massachusetts. During a party, Voigt directs Joey to a room with a mechanical puzzle box and insists he solve it. Joey eventually twists it one too many times, causing a blade to stab him in the hand and a portal to open. In a grotesque display, chains fly out from the portal and tear Joey apart as Voigt bellows for an audience with the god of hell, Leviathan. Skipping 6 years, after battling addiction, Riley is making a fresh start by living with her brother Matt, his boyfriend Colin, and roommate Nora. But when her own boyfriend Trevor drags her into a dangerous break-in at a haunted storage warehouse, Riley uncovers a mysterious puzzle box. Despite her best efforts to avoid trouble, Riley returns home late and faces a heated argument with her overprotective brother, who suspects that she is relapsing. Seeking solace, she goes to a park and solves the puzzle box, only to have her world turned upside down. The blade of the puzzle narrowly missed piercing Riley. Soon after, the Cenobites, a horde of twisted creatures, emerge, led by a woman with grotesque pins piercing her face. They demand that Riley choose another victim to pass the box to, leaving Riley paralyzed with fear at the sight of the woman and causing her to fall into unconsciousness. Time passes. Riley's brother realizes his mistake and sets out to find his sister in the park. But when he arrives, he discovers her unconscious and the puzzle box grasped tightly in her hand. In a moment of concern, he takes the box from her hand, but the blade inside pierces his own, and he starts to bleed. With quick thinking, he brings Riley back to consciousness and informs her of his injury. He hurries to clean the wound while Riley remains in the park, observing the puzzle box as it begins to shift and change its form. Suddenly, the washroom door bursts open and the box transforms into a portal, pulling Riley's brother into a mysterious otherworld. Riley hears her brother scream and rushes in, only to find that he's vanished without a trace. Baffled and terrified, she quickly contacts the authorities and reports the mysterious disappearance. Despite a thorough investigation, the police are unable to find any concrete evidence of what happened to Matt. Riley and Trevor are determined to uncover the truth behind Matt's mysterious disappearance. Their search leads them to Serena Menaker, Voigt's former attorney, who had hidden the notorious puzzle box in a warehouse. However, Menaker's attempts to retrieve the box result in a painful encounter with the box of blade, and after Riley and Trevor escape the scene, Menaker is abducted by the Cenobites. Riley scours the internet late into the night, discovering information about the wealthy and enigmatic figure known as Voigt. She learns that he was an eccentric individual with a passion for drawing and collecting antiques. It is said that he invited guests to a palace, where some mysteriously perished. She confides in Trevor about what she's uncovered, but he dismisses it and attempts to toss the puzzle box away. Quickly, Riley intervenes, stopping him before it's too late. The next day, she travels to the mansion of the late Voigt, where she discovers the former lawyer's journals detailing the box's dangerous configurations. Each one requires a victim to be marked by the blade, so the twisted Cenobites can claim them. As the box transforms into various shapes, the person holding it must make sacrifices at each step. From 1 to 5 sacrifices, the person will gain life, then wisdom, love, respect, and finally, at the 6th step, they will encounter the god of hell, who will fulfill their every desire. The completed box offers its holder a gift from the powerful entity, Leviathan, that controls the fiery abyss of hell. Riley is haunted by visions of her missing brother, Matt, but her worst fears are confirmed when she sees the extent of his torment. The once lively and handsome young man has been flayed, leaving only a shell of his former self. As Trevor, Colin, and Nora approach to bring Riley back home, she explains to Colin the discovery she had made while exploring Voigt's mansion. However, the unsuspecting group is ambushed by Voigt, who had been hiding within the walls of the mansion. He had been mutilated but was still alive. With quick reflexes, Voigt lunges forward and strikes Nora with the cursed puzzle box. In a frantic attempt to flee the mansion, the group makes a break for a nearby van, hoping to outrun the impending danger. But their hopes are quickly shattered as Nora is tragically taken by the Cenobites, the demonic entities that had been summoned by the puzzle box. The Cenobites' leader, Pinhead, taunts Nora before proceeding to inflict upon her a slow and agonizing flaying. After a traumatic event on the road, Trevor and Colin's van careens off the road when Riley catches a glimpse of Nora's torment in the rearview mirror. As the group exits the wreckage, Riley holds the box and heads towards the river, determined to get rid of it. Suddenly, Pinhead appears before her and warns her not to dispose of the artifact. The leader of the Cenobites declares to Riley that in order to conclude the final configurations of the infamous puzzle box, she must make a sacrifice, either offer herself up or choose two others to be marked by the blade. While trying to escape, Trevor is suddenly and viciously attacked by one of the Cenobites, Chatterer, throwing the group into chaos. In a moment of sheer determination and bravery, Riley solves the puzzle box's next configuration and marks the Cenobite as its next victim. With a fierce grip on the blade, she plunges it deep into the creature's flesh, finally freeing them from its grasp. The group make it back to the mansion, realizing that there are steel doors designed to lock the Cenobites out. Riley explains to her friends that the creature's demand is for her to sacrifice someone else in her place, but she cannot bring herself to do so to her beloved friends, even if the puzzle already has her blood. Therefore, they must stay where they are. As Riley and Colin leave Trevor in a room to rest, Voight sneaks in to talk to Trevor. It is revealed that he had been working for Voight and intended to have Riley sacrificed in exchange for a wish from the Hell God. However, despite making multiple sacrifices in the past, the Hell God did not fulfill any of Voight's wishes, instead offering to make him a demon. Out of desperation, Voight fled from Hell and took the puzzle box with him, hoping to use the sacrifices to finally rid himself of his torment. Voight hides when Colin and Riley arrive. She explains her plan to Colin to open the door and call a Cenobite inside. When the demon enters, she will use the puzzle's blade to make it sacrifice itself and save them all. Riley steps outside and informs Pinhead that she is ready to make a sacrifice. Pinhead sends a demon after her, and as it enters the house, Riley and Colin close the door to prevent any other demons from entering. But when Riley tries to use the puzzle box to attack the demon, it instead turns on her, causing the puzzle box to fall from her hands. Conveniently, this commotion is enough for Voight to suddenly appear and snatch away the puzzle box. He then cruelly plunges the box into Colin, whose blood now seeps into the puzzle. Voight then places the puzzle box in the center of the roof, causing Riley to express shock at his reappearance. Voight reveals that he sought new pleasurable sensations after completing all of his sacrifices, and his reward was a contraption attached to him to twist his nerve endings, leaving him in constant pain. His aim now is to be free of this gift. The truth behind the Leviathan's intentions is also revealed. It seeks only to expand its army of demons by making the sacrificial person a demon themselves. Voight's cunning plan reaches its climax as he completes the final configuration and succeeds in trapping the Cenobites within the mansion, keeping them separate from himself and the other players in this dangerous game. Despite her initial shock at Voight's return, Riley takes charge of the situation and seizes the puzzle box, unlocking the heavy steel doors in the process. This, unfortunately, leads to one of the Cenobites, the Gasp, trapping Colin and subjecting him to unbearable torture. In an attempt to save Colin, Riley makes a bold move and sacrifices Trevor, who is then marked as the final offering and ruthlessly dragged to the depths of hell by the wires digging into his skin. Voight, not content with his previous reward of constant pain, convinces Pinhead to grant him something new. Pinhead agrees, offering Voight a promise of immense power. The relief Voight feels as he is released from his contraption is short-lived, as a massive chain suddenly impales him, dragging him down to hell. In the end, Voight's pursuit of power only leads to his ultimate downfall. Riley approaches the Cenobites with the puzzle box in hand, eager to make a deal with the powerful beings from beyond. Riley is aware that the promises made by these deceptive beings are nothing more than a mirage meant to ensnare their prey. With a resolute voice, she informs Pinhead that her brother is truly gone and will never return. Despite this knowledge, Pinhead tempts her with a glimpse of her deceased brother. In her desperation to save him, he appears in a dream, pleading for her help. But as she watches the vision unfold, Riley realizes that she is being manipulated and trapped by Pinhead's malicious ploy. She wisely refuses, even though her heart is torn by the thought of never seeing her brother again. Pinhead sneers, informing her that she will instead be left to live with the guilt of her actions. With a final click, the puzzle box reverts to its original original state, and the Cenobites disappear, leaving Riley and Colin to depart from the mansion. As they walk away, Colin turns to Riley, asking her if she truly made the right choice. Riley remains silent, her thoughts consumed by the weight of her decision. Meanwhile, deep in the bowels of hell, Voight undergoes a gruesome and terrible transformation, his body contorting and changing into that of a new Cenobite. The once human being is now forever trapped in a realm of pain and suffering, a prisoner of his own twisted desires.